Hello, everybody. Please welcome to the stage the writer-director, Mr. Randy Moore.
I'll take that one. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. We have cast and crew here, so I'm not sure where everyone is, but if you just want to make your way up to the stage, super cool. Alison, Liz Taylor, she played the other woman, and of course Abramsohn, Chung, Danielle, Safady, one of our amazing French girls, and that's Soojin, Chung. She edited and produced the picture. That's Lucas Lee Graham. He was our cinematographer.
Wow. Well, you must have spent a lot of time at Disneyland.
I spent a lot of time.
I imagine so. And you must have on some level love Disneyland, I imagine, to engage in it so deeply.
Sort of a love-hate relationship with it, yeah.
A double-sided coin. Is that partly where this came from?
I think so. I think when I was a kid, I really did have, there was a special place in my heart for it. And then as I got older,
Where did Disneyland hurt you?
Well, I went back with my own kids when I was older, and it was different. You know, obviously when I was a kid, I used to go with my father, and then when I went back with my kids, he was no longer there, and my wife, who's right there, she's not from the US, so she didn't quite have the same like nostalgia towards the rides and the characters that I had. So I started seeing it in a different way, and you know, seeing all the really weird things that could go on the edges. You know,
Was there something in your wife's perspective that you can give an example of how that popped you out of just sort of taking it for granted?
I think there was a moment when we were at a princess fair, and it was absolute chaos. The kids were just screaming, you know, to high heaven, demanding $30 plastic wands from their parents. And she turned to me and said, "This is worse than working the psych ward at the hospital." And that's when I realized, like, when most of us go to Disney World or Disneyland, you know, we kind of go with this nostalgia, and we're kind of in between these two worlds. We're riding the rides as adults, but we're also riding them as, you know, we were when we were kids. Sort of like when you go to McDonald's and you eat, you know, you're remembering the Happy Meal you had. And so, you know, we're all sort of indoctrinated from that age, but when you don't have that and then you go, it's a different experience entirely.
But what strikes me about that is you could have gone for like the real Disneyland, but you actually kind of, you still engage in the magic of it, even if it's a darker magic.
Right.
There's still witches and
well, that's because there is magic. This is based on a true story. Just a little bit of
all right. Well, so most
tweaking it here.
Is that true?
No.
I thought perhaps, you know, through the filter of creativity. A lot of Q&As we would ask thematic and why questions, but in this case, I think we have to ask some of those how questions, and I'd love to hear everyone's perspective on this, because you can't watch a film like this and not wonder just how it was made, some of those details. I'm sure you've answered a lot of them, but if we could maybe open up that particular Pandora's box, there's, you know, well, let's just start. Like, how did you set about? Like, how did you make those military plans to go do this thing? I read somewhere you thought it was going to be easy.
I did. I thought I was just going to do it, you know, over a couple weekends with some friends of mine and shoot it myself. And then I started casting professional actors. And Roy was actually one of the first people who came into the casting session, and we just couldn't,
You must feel like you have to really stay in character when you're literally undercover while you're filming.
Yeah, you do. You have to, I mean, it's actually, in a strange way, it's easier than, I mean, other than the fact that you're always thinking you're going to get caught any minute, but you're always, it's not like being on a TV set or a movie set where they're wasting so much money per minute. You know, every minute is, I don't know how many thousands of dollars, and you have to hit that mark. And if you're, you know, if you're the reporter on CSI, they don't want to give you 10 takes. you got to get your line right, and you know, if the lead screws up, they'll do it again and again. But so there's that pressure when you're on a TV show or a movie that really you don't have here. And we were wearing wires. I mean, just for the technical stuff, how it was done, we had a little lavalier mic under our shirts or wherever anyone else had theirs. I'm not sure where you guys had yours, but and it went to a tape recorder in our pockets, just a handheld tape recorder that was running all the time. And it got to the point where I would want to take it out when I go to the bathroom or something. And Randy would, after a while, he got tired of me taking it in and out if I'd want to talk to someone. So he just like duct taped it to the, you know, like so I couldn't remove it. Trying to be careful what I said. But about, I would say, I don't know, I never know the exact figure, but about 80% of it was shot at the parks, and about maybe 20% was in Occidental Studios downtown, and a hotel that doubled as the interior hotel room, and the whole pool scene was obviously not there, couldn't be done there. The crane shot and everything. And so it was about 80% in the parks, but it was very, I don't know, somehow it was oddly, once you get past the idea that anyone's going to catch us, which they almost did once, which actually it was a very close call we had. But other than that, it's kind of freeing in a way, because, you know, honestly, I didn't think this would ever get made. First of all, when he said we were going to do it, I said, well, it's never going to be seen. And then my second thing was then like on the first read-through, when we were trying on costumes, I remember Andy's like, I think I'm going to do it in black and white. I'm like, what? Well, great. Now I went home to my wife, who was running her hair. I was like, great, now it's never going to be seen. Nobody watches black and white anymore except me, maybe, and Randy probably. So that's what I thought. And so I was just doing it for the fun of I mean, I always had faith in Randy's kind of artistic integrity and the choices he made. I always was going, wow, this is a strange thing. I would argue with him sometimes, you know, why do you want to do that? And he would say, because it is uncomfortable, or because it is weird. That's why I want to do it. And he always stuck to that. I mean, this is basically the script that he wrote, so that's enough out of me.
Would any of the other actors like to add to what the experience was like shooting in the park?
Well, it was a real exercise in being really as natural as you could be and not calling any attention to you. So we had to just act like a real family and go with the flow. And we were really lucky that we had really great kids that were acting with us. Caitlin and Jack Donna. They were, you know, pros. They would just be in the park for hours and hours and hours, and it's super hard when, you know, you want to ride the rides and you have to say your scripted lines. So they were really great. But
yeah, like that People Mover ride where he says, why are we following those girls? And Randy said it took like 3 hours. It felt more to me to do that one scene where we passed them. He says, those girls.
Just the one shot.
Just that one
3
shot.
hours to get, because we couldn't figure out the schedule of the opposite People Mover to come right at that time. So and that was one we almost had to forego.
Yeah. And
luckily we got it.
Luckily, yeah. And I got to give credit to Lucas, who was there. You know, they say, I don't know what the quote was, but I always want to say it to Lucas, but he's never heard me say this. You know, they say Fred Astaire was great, but Ginger Rogers did everything he did, but she did it backwards in high heels. And basically, Lucas was doing everything I did, but like when I'm running through the fireworks scene at the end, he was running backwards, you know, in the dark.
I was skinnier then, for sure.
So I just got, you know, he's fantastic. And, you know, you never just, you know, sometimes I wouldn't even know where he was, but I knew he was kind of he's a very solid presence.
He even had a cameo. I think it got cut, but it was a good
No, I'm in there at the fireworks. You can see me ducked low.
Were you involved in helping planning how to steal some of those shots very closely? Like one of my favorite sections of the film, which I wondered about, is the kind of the empty Disney World towards the end, and actually being on the other side as people come in. I mean, those are the kind of thoughts that begin to run through your head. Like, how did they get into the park before everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, we get that question a lot. It's really the least exciting question. We just got up early in the morning. So you'd be there right when it opens, and we'd sprint through the park to try to get the shots before it was crowded, and we
But what
did
about,
it a while.
what about being inside so you can get people coming? Because you're behind the mascots and clearly everyone's waiting to get in.
Yeah, those are all at Epcot, so
Yeah, there's a back entrance that you can come in from the other side.
but you have to literally run across Epcot to be there. And then they count it down, 1, 2, and everybody waves.
And they literally scream no trampling of the cast members right before they open up the park, because people, there's such a fever and mania when they open up the park in the morning that I guess it's a problem. Goofy and Donald are on the ground being stampeded.
Well, it looks great, and I can't imagine you're able to bring lights or anything along those lines, so you have to shoot entirely natural light.
Yeah, I mean, part of like the ceiling shots, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but we actually scouted every shot of the movie, and then we planned based off of sun charts where the sun would be to optimally photograph each shot. So there was this huge planning period, probably 9 times through the entire script, in every shot and every shot list. And then our AD, whose name is JD, ironically, he actually somehow built this puzzle of a schedule.
Well, he was a big Disney fan,
Oh,
too,
he was
so
like
he could almost do it in his mind without even going to look at it.
He's like, I just, sometimes I have a bad day, I go to Buzz Lightyear. He's like one of those guys. So,
In doing all
whatever
this
that
research, what did you guys learn about Disney World you didn't know? Like, what did you discover secret locations or things that you sort of fell in love with that maybe the person who didn't go 10 times in a row, like scouting locations?
I think we discovered that if you want a quick bite to eat, Morocco is the place to go. It's not,
well, the gumbo at the French Quarter.
and the French Quarter has the best food in Disneyland.
All right, so you talked briefly about getting caught. How good is the Disneyland police? And how, because
They're the best. Best there in the world.
I mean, not good enough. I mean, what was the security measure? You talked about a close call there?
Well, we had Elena. This was a day. This was a shot that doesn't. It's not in the final. It's not in the movie you just saw. It's us entering the park as a family on our first entrance into the park, and the shot isn't there anymore in the movie. But we were entering the park. It was 9 a.m. We had just checked into the hotels in Disneyland. We were outside. I forget, a Sheraton or something. We were staying there. And we had just checked in the night before. We get up at 9 a.m. We go to the park. We had our passes all ready. Randy bought year passes for everyone, including our kids in the movie's parents, both mothers were with them the whole time in the park. And we went in and we did the shot, just kind of going through the turnstile. And then JD, who came out to me, the AD, says, hey, go out and do it again and make sure you're in whatever order. And so we went in again. And so we go in again, and I knew that Lucas and the other camera guy were kind of ahead of me about 20 yards or something, doing this shot towards us. And a guy came up and he had a security badge on. He says, excuse me, sir, why did you come in the park twice in 7 minutes? And with a big smile, why did you come in the park twice? And I said, well, because I left the sunscreen outside. I'm looking at her, and we had to put sunscreen on the kids because it's so hot, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, that's why. And so he goes, come with me, sir. And then I said, we're walking in. He says, are you a celebrity, sir? And I said, celebrity? Honey, you think I'm a celebrity? Maybe he saw my reporter role on CSO. Who knows? One-liner on whatever that sitcom I was on. So I go, celebrity, why? And he goes, well, there's paparazzi following you around the park. They're taking pictures of you. And I was like, paparazzi? And I realized, he's talking about Lucas and the other guy. I was like, oh, really? Wow, that's weird. And they were gone. They just vanished. I've never seen a guy play.
We actually went and rode the Matterhorn. I'm not joking. That was kind of our plan, was just to play dumb and be like, oh, that was the Red Baron pizza guy. Didn't you see that commercial? So we went and rode a ride after that.
So I didn't know what to do. They were gone. No one was around. And so he said, I want you to come in. And we waited kind of like when you first get in there by the firehouse. And I realized then I had sound equipment on. And then I realized our IDs are all different last names. My child's last name is Rodriguez. Does not jive with Abramsohn. all. So I was like, oh shit, because they're gonna say, where's your ID? And then, so we were waiting. He said, I want you to wait right here. And he was serious then. And there were some other security people coming around. They were looking around, and I realized I had to get rid of the sound stuff. So I said to him, my son has to use the bathroom. Could we go in the bathroom, please? And so he said, yeah, but come right back out. And we went in the bathroom, and I took off the sound equipment, these handheld tape recorders, and I didn't know what to do with them. And I remember having the vision of putting it in the trash. And then I realized, oh my God, we could have like a week of sound on this, and it could be gone, and I could be ruining his movie, and what do I do? So I put them into these big dad tube socks that I was wearing. I figured that'd be the last place they'd look is the socks. And then as we left, this same JD came walking by me very fast, and he says, with the cap on, he just walks straight by me, not even looking at me, like a spy movie going, get in the production van, get in the white production van in the parking lot, get in the white production van in the parking lot. And I'm going like this. And he was gone, and I saw Elena had done the same thing. I think she went to the bathroom in the girls' bathroom. And I looked at her, and the guy's back was towards me, and then a parade kind of came by with Goofy. It was really weird. I remember this big Goofy character, and it was kind of busy. And I looked at her, and I was like, no, So we walked very fast to the turnstile, and I remember running. And I'm like holding these kids' hands, like they were like bouncing off the ground. I just ran to the white van, and as we got in, I remember Randy was in the van.
That's not sketchy.
We were in the back.
Running the big white van.
We were in the van, and I looked at Randy, and I saw like beads of sweat on his forehead, I remember. And
people following.
yeah, there was like a guy that was writing down the license plate. It was an undercover Disney cop, I guess. And so that was a scary, and then we got back. As we sped away, Randy goes, okay, go back to the hotel. Everyone go back to LA. And I said, yeah, we just got here. I was like, can I use the hot tub? And he's like, no, go back to LA.
So the moral of the story is if you get in trouble at Disneyland, a bathroom break in a white van will get you out.
There will be a white van. So that was the closest it came. But other than that, it wasn't anything else.
Though in all seriousness, now that this has all happened, and I imagine it was a very stressful couple of years. I heard you lost like 40 pounds or something. So maybe that's a good way to lose some weight, guys. Sneak into Disneyland for 3 years. There was that New Yorker piece that sort of decided why they thought that it might actually be okay to do, and this isn't actually the first film shot at Disneyland that way. John Sloss, who put out the Exit Through the Gift Shop, there's a little bit of Exit Through the Gift Shop done the same way. Like now here we've landed now, it seems like it's worked out, actually. It's even though it's country. Did you come into this with any thoughts about where the room was, where the legal space was to do this or not, or did you just kind of go for it, or how do you feel about it now?
I didn't do.
Can you talk about it?
I didn't do any legal research before I made the movie, for the obvious reasons that I thought that would influence, decisions that I might make along the way. And I wanted to have one pure cut of the film before we started vetting it with lawyers, if it ever even got to that point, because I didn't know if we'd be able to pull it off.
But then you do things like, I notice you don't say Walt Disney, you say the W, or like
WD. That was just a mistake.
Oh really? Okay. I was wondering if it was.
And then the actor couldn't really pronounce.
Double D himself.
Well, or switching out the music, and it's a small world.
Right.
Geospore.
Well, that was done after the Sundance cut, as was the disclaimer, and we also added the android decapitation, which was something we had shot, but we just never got around to it. We couldn't make it work before, and then after John Sloss, who's here, he's our sales agent and distributor. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's really the person who took it to the next level. If it wasn't for him, I would be driving around in a white van showing this movie, and with a tip jar asking for donations. And he believed in it. And I always thought, morally, this place is such a, rite of passage for so many people, and it's transcended being just an average theme park. And, it's in all our DNA. These characters mean so much to so many people. Grown adults gasp and cry when they see Mickey, appear at the top of the mound in the Fantasmic show, that to not be able to comment on it, I just thought was beyond belief, So I just came at it from that standpoint, and I hoped that the law would be behind me. And obviously I was aware of fair use, and but there's still, it's Disney. They can change the laws if they want to, right?
Well, also being right doesn't mean necessarily that
That's
someone
right.
can't fight you.
Absolutely. So
those are totally, people don't understand those are separate issues. So I want to also make sure Alison and Danielle, you get to talk.
This is Danielle's first movie that she
Oh.
Well, it's probably a weird movie to be your first movie.
I mean, like, I was just excited to go to Disneyland, so.
You're not French.
I know, I'm not. I just go to a French school, so like I was used to like accents and like a lot of people speaking French.
So was this a fun shoot?
Yeah, it was really fun, and I was in like 8th grade, so I didn't really care. I just wanted to go to Disneyland.
And what was this as a shoot like for you, Alison?
It was fun. Yeah, a lot of fun. I got a great character and got to wear crazy costumes. And, I wasn't at Disney, but
Because you were on the actual set.
yeah. But I got to hear all the stories, and I had a lot of fun.
There's one last detail that really struck me. I heard you, which to bring in the last before Q&A, is it Soojin? Soojin, sorry. The film was edited in Korea, in South Korea. How did that happen? Why did that happen? It seems like, could you explain a little bit how you got involved in the film and why? Was that some elaborate measure to protect yourself, or was it just
No,
because it's
actually,
Soojin?
the film was edited in LA.
Oh, okay.
Editing was in LA, but we
The internet
brought
was
it
wrong.
for visual effects and DI.
But we spent a lot of time in South Korea. Lucas and I spent about a month in a movie theater that they didn't want to pay for heat, and this was in January in the South. So we were literally, like, you could see, the vapor from our breath, and we were, wearing, earmuffs, and sitting in this theater for a month doing the DI for the film.
And eating some form of soup 3 meals a day. It seemed like.
I think there were at least five trips that I made to Korea, and Soojin made more. So all the visual effects, the DI, the film out, because we made a film out. This was shown on film at Sundance, and then we have one other copy of film, which it's in Spain right now. But,
Well, speaking
that was our
unsung
goal.
heroes to get something like this made, how did Soojin? How did you get involved in the film, and why? It's low budget, it's independent, but there's a budget there. You guys put a lot of time into this. Like, what gave you the bravery to believe in it and help put it together?
Well, I was very lucky. I applied a job in the Menti.com and Randy posted there. Actually, he saw, I think, because my other short film that I made in AFI, which was with Lucas Shot It, and he saw the film and liked it, and that's why he hired Lucas and then me. But by the time when I get in there, the producer wasn't there, and then we were doing post-production, and actually Randy mentioned about visual effects, it's become big, and then, like, first it's sort of like, it costs a lot if you do it in LA, but more importantly, we didn't feel very secure, because we're in LA, and every facility is kind of doing a lot of work with
Burbank.
So we don't want the words out before we finish the movie. So more like security reason. Actually, Randy suggested me to what about going to Korea? So that was very easy because I've been working in Korea for a long time. So
I was pretty paranoid by that time. Because my goal the whole time was just to finish the film. I say it was an experimental film, and I don't mean that in like a artsy way. It was really an experiment to see if we could actually finish the film, or even shoot the film.
I agree that just the making of the film
And
is almost part of the art.
She had one of the hardest jobs initially because the way we did the sound, we didn't have wireless mics because I thought that might, mess up or interfere with park security or whatever. So we had wired mics for everyone, and we turned them on and we ran them all day for 12 hours. So imagine like 6 or even 8 actors in some scenes. With we didn't have tail slates or anything like that, so she had to sync all of that audio for all the park footage, and it took a month and a half.
we're cutting into our valuable party time. So let's, we have time for just a couple questions from the audience. Over here?
Is this going to be able to be released on DVD? Any restrictions that you're aware of?
John, it will be on DVD, right? Yeah? Yes. I mean, it's coming out on October 11th and on video on demand. It's day and date, so it'll be in theaters and on iTunes and. Yep.
Yeah. Sundance Cinemas and the Downtown Independent, if you guys want to tell friends.
And the Pasadena 7.
And the Pasadena 7.
It'll be on DVD in February.
And DVD.
And DVD in February. Over there on the wall.
Is there going to be a behind the scenes or any B-roll? Like feature yourself filming the whole thing. It's like another movie trying to film it.
Well, we shot a lot. So, there could be a few more movies in there.
I just found some great green screen footage of the German police chasing Roy on treadmills on my computer. Just a few of those scenes.
I mean, there are so many scenes that did not make this, but I think altogether it was like 45 days. Is that right, Randy? The whole shoot was. Someone always asks.
We shot on a lot of rides, and one of the things we realize is when you're on the ride, it's a lot more exciting than when you're watching it from even a nice camera's perspective. So we had to slim down the rides, and there was a Jungle Cruise sequence that was really hard to lose, and we did some stuff on pirates and a few other rides. And the Norwegian ride, the Maelstrom at Epcot was fun. But eventually, you just get ridiculously tired of the ride. So we tried to, keep it down to as minimum. I can't talk anymore. That's what I'm talking about. Night.
Okay.
Can you talk about the score? Because that was incredible.
Yeah. That was written by a Polish composer named Abel Korzeniowski. He's amazing. He did Madonna's last movie, W.E., and he did the Tom Ford movie, Single Man. His wife was our babysitter when he first moved to Poland. So when he first moved to the U.S., so we knew him very well, and she stopped being our babysitter when he was nominated for his first Golden Globe. When we finished shooting this movie, I just gave him a DVD with the temp dub just to get his reaction as a film goer, and he liked it so much that he offered to score it for free. And I said, Abel, I paid every single person on this film at least something, so I have to pay you, so I can't let you be the one person who works for free on the movie. But he just came, he took a huge salary cut, maybe the largest in history, and did the movie, and we scored it, he scored it, and it was, that's the result. It was amazing.
I agree with you, by the way. I think I went to music school. That's what my degree is in, actually. And I listen to music, and I just, every time I turn to my wife all the time, I go, this is amazing music. This is it makes it an art film. To me, it does. The music is just gorgeous. It just, and it's, yeah.
All right, just time for just a couple more. I'm going to go because I haven't got anybody back there. Double hand.
Hey, did you, I got actually a three-part question. Did you know
one
Best
question.
Going in with the Matterhorn and
No, just one.
Sawyer's
Just one.
Island? I saw him in there. And would you work for Disney if given the chance?
So you can
I want to work on a Star Wars movie.
Would you work for Disney?
Would I work for Disney?
Sure.
Sure, if they'd have me.
Did you get releases from any of the park goers or cast members? And if not, do you have a plan of defense in case people sue?
Our lawyers said funny.
We did procure E&O insurance, so we're covered for that.
All right. Let's one more question. A really good one. Over here.
Awesome. Yeah, you were talking about the kids and they had to take them to the bathroom to take the mics off and stuff. How did you prep the kids for the possibility of getting caught? Like what?
Did you discuss with the kids?
That they
Did you tell the children?
The children were, you know, maybe the most with it people, you know, of all of us. We were all, certainly more, not you. But I think we all knew that, you know, there was a chance that.
You think they knew?
Yeah, I think. And it was just, you know, it would have been sad for them because that would have been the end of their vacation. So we prepared them that, you know, vacation could end any day now. So let's make the most of it.
Well, we're all glad vacation didn't end. Could you guys give a big round of applause to all of you? A little party. We have something at the bar in the front, and then out back we also have a bar at the concessions. And I believe Dante Fontana and Robot Kid are going to do some more Disney visuals for you guys. And stick around. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All over